What's up, guys? So I am back with part 2 of this video. If you haven't watched part 1, make sure you watch that first. So in part 1, I spoke about race realism, what that is, why I think it's bullshit, and I also spoke about whether race is a biological reality or whether it is a social construct, which I think it is safe to say, or it's fair to say it's a little bit of both, but it's definitely way more a social construct than it is a biological reality. So now in this video, I wanted to dedicate it a little more to my Dominicans, okay? Of course, if you're not Dominican, you can watch this too, but I wanted to make this video more for, mi paisano, okay? So like I said in the previous video, just here online, I have seen many different opinions from many Dominicans on here. As you guys already know, Dominican people, we are a beautiful mixture of European, African, and a little bit of Native ancestry. We have had many different people come across our side of the island, which has resulted in us being a very mixed race. 3/4 of the Dominican population is mixed race. Then, of course, we have some that are very much white and some that are very much black. So I take a lot of pride in all of my mixture. And I feel that most Dominicans do. And they should. I don't think that we should ever view one race as being superior or inferior to another. That is in no way, shape, or form part of the Dominican framework as far as what makes us Dominicans, what we stand for, the principles the Dominican government was created on. None of this racial stuff applies. And, to this day, for many Dominicans, the concept of race is it's not a reality to them. They don't classify with either race. All they know is I'm Dominican. Like, yes, I may be dark, and so they may call themselves negro or negra or trigueño or mulatto or moreno, or if they're white, they might call themselves branquito, or you might hear them get nicknames like gringo, which I've heard. So yes, people may allude to their skin color, but as far as identifying with a race, that's just not a reality of Dominican society. And, I think for the most part, that's a good thing, because Dominican society wasn't founded on, although we, initially, yes, there was slavery and all that, but post-slavery, there was not so much of an institution of racism, it wasn't pushed onto the society the way it was, here in the US. And I think that it should stay that way. So, with things that have happened in recent decades, and now with the massive migration of illegal Haitian immigrants to the Dominican Republic, a lot of Dominicans seem to feel that our country is going to become a predominantly black country, and this is something they fear. Now, I will say some of the Dominicans are being dramatic as F, okay? I mean, sure, some of the population in certain areas may have become more black over time, but I mean, some Dominicans on here just being dramatic. So, and some feel that, our European ancestry is to an extent under attack, and that we need to preserve our European ancestry and all this stuff, and like basically all the white is going to be wiped out of the earth, which I'm like, no, it's not. That's why is that even your primary concern? I don't see there being this drastic demographic change in the racial makeup of Dominicans. I guess there might be a slight shift towards being more black, but I don't expect it to be some huge catastrophic change. Again, our mixture is just way too jumbled up in there for one race to overpower the other. You know what I mean? Some Dominicans tend to attribute blackness with other groups of people. Like, it's weird because most Dominicans, we acknowledge our mixture, and most Dominicans acknowledge that, yeah, we're mixed with white, black, and Latino. But even though they say this, it's like some still associate, being black more so with other groups of people, especially Haitians. And so, because, let's keep it real, there is a lot of differences between DR and Haiti. Although we share the same island, it's like two different worlds. Especially culturally, we're just very different. And of course, we're both third world countries, but Haiti is, the poorest country on the side of the hemisphere. And again, it's just like two different worlds. I don't know. It's very weird. But, and let me just say, I have nothing against Haitians. I don't personally know any Haitians, but I have nothing against them. One thing y'all know I don't like to do is categorize entire groups of people. I'm sure there's good Haitians just like there are bad Haitians. Same with Dominicans. There's good Dominicans, there's bad Dominicans. Every group has good and bad people. So yes, they attribute blackness with Haitians. And some go as far as to say that because they are predominantly black, this is why their nation is in the state that it is. And that is why Dominicans need to keep our white lineage. Of course, that is entirely incorrect. Haiti is not in the state that it is because they are black. Okay? I don't know too much of the ins and outs of the Haitian government and what exactly has happened over there, but it seems like from the very beginning of their nation, they were kind of doomed. Especially with, having to repay France after they became a nation. It just seems like the cards just didn't fall right. They weren't on their, the odds were not in their favor. Okay. I don't think it has anything to do with their race. There has just been severe misleading over there. The Haitian government seems like it's doing nothing for its people. And now they're all going into DR, and some are causing no problems, but again, there's a lot that are. So this type of thinking that their misfortune is attributed to the fact that racially they are black, I feel is completely wrong. So and it's like I see Dominicans on here just saying, look at Black Americans, look at Haitians, look at Africans, blah blah blah. They're this way and that way. They're not organized. They're not civilized. They're a bunch of rampant animals because of the fact that they're black. And I'm like, how ignorant can you be? Okay, how ignorant can you be? And then it's like they're pushing this race realism bullshit. And some agree with this shit and say that's why they're not intelligent. This is why we need white people to rule over and, maintain the order in society. And it's like, yo, how can you, do you really honestly believe that? Y'all really honestly believe that? And then again, it's like, how can you talk bad about black people? When you talk bad about the black race, you are talking bad about Dominicans. How do y'all not see that? It drives me crazy because I'm like, I see so many Dominicans agree with this shit. I'm like, yo, we are very mixed with black. We are part of this race as well. How can y'all talk so negatively about black people? I just don't get it. Do you not see that you're putting down our own predominantly black Dominicans when you do that? Hello? What am I missing something here? Am I missing something? So anyways, I just wanted to show some examples of some intelligent black people, starting with the Dominican Republic. Some notable predominantly black Dominicans that have gone down in our history that did a lot for our people. And then I'll also show some black people from other cultures, because I think it's important that we get rid of this mindset that the black race is not as intelligent or that it is inferior to the white race, because it cannot be anything more from wrong. So on to these pictures. This is Francisco del Rosario Sanchez, and he is one of the 3 founding fathers of the Dominican Republic, and he is of African descent. One of his parents was said to be Black. He studied Latin, philosophy, he helped lead DR to independence, and he was also against the annexation of DR to Spain. This is Gregorio Luperón. He was a military general. He was president of DR from 1879 to 1880, and he played a key role in the restoration of DR after the Spanish annexation in 1863. This here is Salome Ureña. She was a poet and a writer, but in 1850, she opened the first center of higher learning and education for young women in the Dominican Republic. Here we have Doctora Evangelina Rodriguez. She was the first woman to receive a medical degree in 1911, and she was a vocal public advocate for public health care. Here we have Petronila Angelica Gomez. She organized the first National Women's Congress, and in 1917, she published the first feminist magazine. And of course, we cannot forget Mama Tingo. She was a true revolutionary. She was the leader of the Liga Agraria Cristiana, an advocacy group for farmers, and she helped lead the fights for poor farmers in the Dominican Republic. Now, moving back here to the US, here are some notable Black people that used their intelligence to create some pretty important stuff. First, we begin with Madam C.J. Walker. She made specialized products for African American hair, and she was the first self-made female American millionaire. Next, we have George Washington Carver. He invented over 300 peanut products, including cooking oil, axle grease, and printer's ink. This gentleman right here is Garrett Morgan. He invented the gas mask, and he invented the traffic signal. This here is Alexander Miles. He invented automatic elevator doors. And here we have George Alcorn. He received a master's in nuclear physics, a PhD in atomic and molecular physics, and he invented the imaging X-ray spectrometer. Now, if you want to take it all the way back, let us not forget that math pretty much originated in Africa, which is funny because race realists will tell you, oh, Asians are biologically better at math than any other race. But the first method of counting came from Africa. Egyptians, they were already doing division, multiplication, fractions. Geometry, algebra, this all came out of Africa. This right here is African Stonehenge, or as some call it, Adam's calendar. This predates both Stonehenge and the Great Pyramids of Giza. There are various astronomical alignments that have been identified here, and some say that it's possibly the only example of a completely functional megalithic stone calendar in the world. Now, prior to European invasion, Africans had already been practicing medicine. They had already discovered the use of certain plants with acids that could be used to treat pain, such as what we now use with aspirin. They were already doing vaccinations, performing autopsies, even C-sections, and they had also begun to do cavity fillings. Hey guys, so yeah, those are all the people I wanted to show you all. And, before I end this video, I just want to say, my hopes for DR is that it would stay a country that is not so hung up on race. And it's sad to say that because so many Dominicans have migrated to the US and been subjected to the intense racism that is here, some of them have adopted this type of racial thinking as well. And it seems like some of it is going back to DR, and I don't like it. So my hope for DR is, again, that it wouldn't become a prominent thing over there, that Dominicans would just continue to identify as Dominicans and embrace each other regardless of how they look, regardless of whether they're more white, whether they're more Black, and that we would start to focus on the stuff that really matters, like educating our youth, the infrastructure of DR, building schools, just like not having so people living like right on the poverty line or below the poverty line, you know, stuff like that. And of course, you know, getting some way to control the issue at the border, you know, with Haiti, like the things that actually matter, not worrying about race and how many blacks versus whites there is in the R. Like that shit is irrelevant. Like who gives a damn? Like, who cares? Who cares? There are much more important things that need to be taken care of in the Dominican Republic than focusing on the ratio of white to black. Okay. So, with all this being said, this concludes part 2 of this video. I don't know. I don't know how y'all gonna take it. I know there's some that are gonna agree. There's gonna be some that are gonna disagree. I'm gonna get dislikes, and that's fine. I mean, you know, somebody has to speak up. You know, somebody gotta say something, and you can't, you know, initiate change and progress if everyone stays silent. You know what I mean? So, let me know you guys' thoughts, especially if you're Dominican, or even if you're not Dominican and you have any opinion you'd like to, or some input, you know, leave it down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.